In this episode, you get a high-level perspective on how the global brand Nike entered the Web3 space. Hello and herzlich willkommen to the Bernhard Neumann podcast. Here you get insights, assessments, and knowledge around the topics of Web3, NFTs, and crypto. I'm your host Bernhard, and I help brands successfully get started with Web3, the Metaverse, and NFTs, with training, workshops, actionable strategies, and convincing communication, so that the whole thing has a method and brings results. Okay, before we get into details, a quick disclaimer. At the point of this recording, I do not own any Nike or Artifact NFTs, so I have no financial interest here. Okay, let's get started. I gave a talk at a university yesterday in front of some students, and I wanted to show them how brands are actually entering the Metaverse. And so I thought, and I picked in the end the example of Nike and Artifact, because I think there's many aspects to it. They show a wide variety of how you can enter the space, and they're doing it all. It's a big brand, Nike. And so I think it's a great example also for you to understand, okay, how they're actually doing it. Like everyone's talking about brands going into Web3, what's happening here? So this is what you will find out today. On a higher level, there's many details to it, but I think it's good for us to stick to the high level view here. All right, so at some point, Nike decided, wait a minute, this Web3 thing, this might be very big. This might be actually the next iteration of the internet. So we want to be there. And how can we get into it? And there's probably many ways. You can start from scratch and say, let's build something. For a brand like Nike, that's very possible. Obviously, many brands do it like that. Nike went a different approach. They said, okay, what's a good brand there that has a great brand fit with us and is maybe already established, maybe already has the tech figured out, and they found Artifact, which is a company by 3 founders, and it existed for about 3 years, and what they specialized in was digital wearables, digital fashion items, which they also produced physically. So they had both, and they were very good at it. They're really good at AR, VR stuff, and they already had established themselves in the NFT space. It was a recognizable brand. And so that's what Nike bought right out. And looking back, that was a smart move, because not only was it a good brand, well established, but the team is very capable and gave Nike a great start into the whole space. So what did Nike actually buy? They bought a collection of some digital fashion, and they also bought a collection of avatars. So this is where we come to the first pillar of what brands might do in the Metaverse and NFT space, and this is create digital identities. And so this is what Artifact did even before Nike came in. They released a collection of 20,000 digital avatars. You have to check them out yourself. If you go on the internet and Google Artifact, Clonex Artifact, then you will see how they look. They're kind of 3D human, robot, however you want to call it. But it's meant so that people have a digital avatar. If they go into a digital world, they don't look like everyone else. They look like their avatar, and that gives them an identity. And so this is one of the bigger plays. Not every brand does that, but Nike wants to have it because it's also a nice billboard for fashion, right? If you have an avatar, you want to wear something. This is the one thing, and I would like for you to be able to think even further. One detail about this, they also just recently gave all holders of those avatars very detailed and great 3D model of their avatar. So this is very important, because if you don't have those files, which are actually not that easy to generate, then it's hard for you to go into digital worlds and actually look like your avatar. You need those 3D files that are compatible with all the different worlds that are being built. And that's what Clonex and in this case Artifact and Nike released. And their idea is, what they also said with the release was, hey, here you go. and now let's co-create this brand together, use it for your digital representation. Maybe you want to become a YouTube star looking like you Clonex, because then you can use the brand of Clonex, which elevates your brand, and obviously the other way around. Like if you use your Clonex, it gets even more recognized as you become a successful YouTuber. And so there's this great alignment of interests, which is obviously a big part of Web3. And so this is one of their plays. The next one I want to go to is the Metaverse play. So yeah, we don't know yet what the Metaverse is or what it will look like, but I think we can agree that it's more of a place on the internet. It feels more like a place, like in the physical world, things feel like places. And so what Nike did was, in my eyes, very smart, and this might be very interesting for you. So there's many companies say, okay, we build a metaverse for you, beautiful, all this, but they realize either already before they announce this or just while they're doing this takes a lot of time. This takes years to get it right. And so Nike went a different approach. They said, okay, we don't have the whole metaverse for you here, but let's give you an apartment where you can place your NFTs and stuff in it and make it your apartment, show it to other people. That's what they did. They dropped the people a space pod. Dropping means they send it in their wallet. And so if you owned a Clonex, you got a space pod, and the space pod is an NFT, but it's also an apartment in a digital world called On Cyber. This is one of the more popular metaverses that are already existing. In the show notes, you have a link. You can check out one of the apartments of a random person who put up some NFTs, some art in it, and is displaying it. And that's the whole experience here, actually. But obviously, Nike and Artifact, they want to build this metaverse from the inside out. So the next might be the whole apartment building or house. Then you get your land maybe, and all of a sudden it will be a world. And here maybe a quick thought. I had a nice discussion with a friend yesterday, and I thought he raised a really good point. Like right now, this is happening on Cyber, which is a separate company, and they provide this metaverse, this infrastructure of the metaverse. But if you think about it, a big brand like Nike, they probably want to control most of what's happening on the digital platform. So I would assume they will build their own metaverse, because otherwise you're just too dependent on someone else. Then we're still in Web 2, where Facebook at any time can say, no, we changed the policies. You cannot reach your 40 million fans on Facebook anymore. You have to pay us more money. That's not what brands want to do. That's not the Web3 spirit. And so it is probably likely that they will either purchase an existing metaverse or be a big stakeholder in one or build their own. So there's a metaverse play to be made, and that's very interesting, but that's not all for Nike. I think now we come to the most important point and economically most interesting point. Who knows what the metaverse will bring, but phygital fashion. So what's phygital fashion, you ask? It's the combination of digital fashion and physical fashion. And obviously you don't combine it, but you have an order to it. And what Artifact is doing is saying, okay, you have your avatar, and obviously you want to wear something. And also Nike is a sports brand, it's a fashion brand, and so we do digital fashion. And what they did is, okay, you own this Clonex avatar, now you can buy limited edition digital fashion, which later on you can forge into physical fashion. So that's the way to go, and it's quite genius. So at first, obviously, digital fashion is a genius business model. The only thing you have to do is to design it. You don't have to produce it, you don't have to ship it, you don't have to sell it in a store, you don't have to get the returns. All of this is gone. And so that's a beautiful business model. That's why we see countless fashion brands already doing digital fashion, because if it works out, it's a beautiful business model. But more to it, we have phygital fashion. So first you have it digitally, and then if you like it, maybe you've seen it on your avatar and all this, you get a physical copy of it. And Many people say this is even the more sustainable way in terms of the environment. It's not like you try a million things on and then you send them back, but it's more deliberate, and you can already kind of test it out if you like it. I mean, in the end, you need to see how it looks on yourself, not your avatar. But there's a way to it that I like, and it's also kind of a co-creation kind of thing. And so this is the way forward for many brands, especially for Artifact. Okay, you first get your digital fashion item, and then you can make it a physical reality. And if you think about it, the customer journey is really beautiful here. Like, it's very exciting to first have it digitally, look at it, and then, okay, let's forge it. I think that's cool. So I just might get an Artifact NFT, who knows? But I found this fascinating, and this is how they do it. I'm certain this is how other brands will do it and already are doing it. And so you can make it very exclusive. You can make it a special experience. It can happen digitally first, and then it can happen in the physical world. And that's a pretty cool thing. Another play that Artifact and Nike will be doing is obviously incorporating their sports stars, which they advertise with, and bring them into this digital world. And we already got a peek, which was LeBron James. So LeBron James, the basketballer, one of the most iconic athletes living right now, he got his own avatar. So the Clonex collection was already done, but then they said, okay, we might change the data here of one of the avatars, and they actually gave this avatar a crown and a beard, and they called the beard LBJ beard. And so it looked like LeBron James. They also announced it, and so it totally makes sense, to bring those stars in the real world, bring them more into the digital world. And this is one of the very first ways they did it. I'm certain there's many other ways to do it. As we see with other sports where you do fantasy leagues, you can do autograph cards. There's many approaches, but I'm sure Nike and Artifact will find a pretty cool way in order to bring their sports stars also in this digital world. So the last part I want to touch is collaborations. And we have a pretty interesting one just recently with Artifact, and that's Remover, the suitcase company. This is, no coincidence. LeBron James advertises with them, and so it all comes together here. But what they're doing is there's established NFT brands, there's established Web3 brands like Artifact, and now we have those other brands that kind of want to get their entry right and want to enter this space as well. And so they do collaborations. And that's very interesting. We see that more and more often with, for example, there was just recently the fashion brand All About You and the CyberKong NFT project. They did a collaboration here. And there's many more. For example, Adidas entered in collaboration with the Bored Ape Yacht Club and G Money. So like it just makes sense, right? There's already some established brands there. They want to bring out more, and they're small compared to obviously Nike or Adidas or anything. And so both profit from the other, and so that just totally makes sense. And this is also what Nike and Artifact are doing with the collaboration of Remover, and there will be probably many more to come. And they want to create a nice digital experience for the people. They want to see if there's new customer segments they can tap into. And so all pretty cool, I would say, because there's only winners here. Like the people that own the Clonex, they can take part in, or they can't. There's nothing intrusive here. It's just a win-win. If you enjoy the experience, if you would like a special suitcase, then obviously this is for you, and if not, no harm done. And so I'm pretty excited for these collaborations, because obviously I'm already quite deep into the Web3 NFT space, and so there will be many things that I will get through my NFTs, and this is also a further incentive for people to get into NFTs, obviously. But it will merge the two worlds of the Web3 and the Web2 at some point, and it's happening right now. I hope you found this example of Artifact and Nike interesting, because it shows what you can do as a brand. There's so much more to do, but I think this is one of the big players that's already doing it. If I don't forget it, like they also kind of announced a gaming aspect, which is quite obvious, right? So Nike and sports, how do you bring this into Web3? There's many ways to do it. Gaming is one way. And so you can be certain that they do some kind of gamification with sports, or they do an outright game that you can experience and play. And so, yeah, this is just a little addition here that jumped into my mind. As you can see, many possibilities. Nike and Artifact are doing it all, but I don't think it looks like they're doing too much. I think they can handle this. They have a very, very big brand in the background. And so it's exciting to see. So far, they're doing it well. And yeah, I think that's the overview I wanted to give you, the high-level view. There's many details. If you have questions, just approach me, leave a comment. I'm happy to talk to you about it. And yeah, either way, if you like this episode, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. You can also leave a review. That really helps. And then I see you next time. Have a very good weekend. Take care.